Language acquisition is just one of the problems we face today when talking about standardized testing. Within a deeply flawed Language acquisition is just one of the problems we face today when talking about standardized testing. Within a deeply flawed public education system, we find that these high-stakes tests are definitely not the best way to ensure student success. Their intended purpose is to measure general intelligence, but their results should be independent of situation, and unfortunately that is not the reality. Expert research has found there are many issues concerning the use of standardized tests, including cultural bias, underpreparing students for post-secondary education or employment, and test impurity. Amy Back ran an ethnographic research study that took place in El Paso, Texas, a town bordering Mexico with a population that is 82% Hispanic, with 73% of households speaking Spanish primarily. The results of this study were that schools serving students from a low socioeconomic background were underfunded and reveal a cultural bias. The district and the schools do not take into consideration the population and focus on raising test scores instead, equating English acquisition with education and cognitive abilities. The public school system in the United States currently holds more students from racial and ethnic minority groups, as well as from a lower socioeconomic status. Unfortunately, educational opportunities are not afforded equally to all students. Language acquisition research has shown it takes over 5 years to gain academic proficiency in another language, but the STAR test punishes emergent bilingual students by withholding their diploma. Standardized testing in Texas fails to recognize its growing Hispanic population and the disadvantages they face as early English language learners. This is evidenced by their lower graduation rates and lower acceptance rates into post-secondary education, as these accomplishments are all gate-kept by high-stakes standardized tests. Research shows that a large majority of time is allotted to preparation for state-mandated tests. This can improve test-taking skills, but teaching to the test limits curriculum. Standardized testing scores go hand in hand with school funding. This has led to teachers being forced by their districts to raise test scores by teaching to the test, meaning students are missing out on experiential learning opportunities in order to pass one test. Direct instruction for standardized tests leave no room to explore other interests. In fact, choosing to omit critical information because it is statistically less likely to be on the test, such as the STAR test. For example, the research done by Chelsea Davis Bibb shows that the way English language arts classes are taught has changed to accommodate state testing, letting go of traditional literature to make space for short stories and informational reading. While aiming to improve test scores, students are being underprepared for life beyond the classroom. Even after passing standardized tests and graduating high school, many students felt underprepared for university and life after the classroom. Teacher perceptions are increasingly negative due to stress over securing federal funds, teaching to the test, and test anxiety. Burned out and demoralized teachers can negatively affect student engagement as well. This also results in lowered aspirations in students due to prolonged stress and constant overload, having a lasting impression on students' success and mental health. Test impurity is another problem within standardized testing. Standardized tests are meant to assess students' literacy and numeracy, but in fact also involve working memory and non-verbal reasoning. Due to these higher demands, students are limited by the complexity of information, and test scores do not accurately demonstrate what they are trying to capture. Remedying the situation can prove difficult. If the student failed a numeracy question based on literacy, then drilling math skills will be ineffective. Memory and reasoning capabilities are also being assessed and yield inaccurate test results. Research shows a correlation between nonverbal reasoning and academic performance. Different modes of assessment give varying results, and standardized tests are more interested in reasoning abilities than the intended numeracy and literacy skills. Student abilities should be assessed accurately in order to identify where support is or isn't needed. In recent years, organizations have pushed for new education plans that focus on non-cognitive development, such as critical thinking and collaboration, all skills that are essential for higher education as well as future employment. The STREAM program, developed by a middle school principal, aims to combine classroom learning with real-world projects and experiences to engage students while still following state-mandated content. Observational data from the STREAM program revealed that this hands-on approach was more engaging and motivating for students. Teachers, parents, and students all viewed experiential learning positively. Being exposed to life experiences and applying relevant material made students feel more confident in their abilities and interested to learn something that will actually be used after graduation. Those involved in the program were given more control over their own time, given opportunity for creativity and growing maturity. Collaborating with others led to acknowledging and working with other points of view, and foreshadowing their future group work in higher education and unemployment. It's time to let go of standardized testing. I've outlined many reasons why they are completely ineffective and have a lasting negative impact on teachers, parents, and students. Cultural bias prevents emergent bilingual students from succeeding despite how intelligent they may be. Teaching to the test has been ineffective in raising test scores and leaves students underprepared for life outside of grade school. Not to mention, problems with test impurity mean we're not even measuring the intended knowledge required or assessing the students accurately. Whether it be STEAM or another new education plan, we can't continue on this road if we hope to see change.